Hello, folks. Just a quick vid. I've just gotten in. I was very busy this weekend. And there's a lot of disturbing news still coming out. First of all, let me say, I'm a Christian. I keep God at the head of my life, and I give Him the glory in everything I do. Folks, not only do America need God bad, and American, but especially Black America. Let me tell you what happened. First of all, the name of this is Black Lives Matter. Baltimore murder rate highest in 4 decades. This is a disgrace. How in the world can anybody expect to take African Americans seriously when Baltimore, you just was rioting and tearing up the city of Baltimore in your own neighborhood? And you have committed more murders in the month of July than there have been murders in over 40 years. You've killed over 45 people in the month of July alone. You reached a new level of madness and violence and depravity. This is ridiculous. This is why no other nationality on earth is going to take us seriously. I'm going to say something here. Look, wait a minute. We need God now. We have to repent and ask God for forgive us for our sin and give us direction because we're disappearing. Do you know out of 300 and what, 25 or 29 million Americans, black men are only 6%. And the first thing you follow these so-called civil rights leaders, blame the white man. Let's march. Why? Put those books down. Put those guns down. Pick those books up and read. Do you see what a disastrous effect that we're having on the African American community? I even felt sorry for the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Baltimore. You see, she had previously fired the police chief who was black. In other words, the people who are running Baltimore are blacks. And it's a mess financially, physically, financially, housing and everything. It's just. And they were asking this woman the question, how can you bring these cops up on all these charges and look at the murder is skyrocketing among African Americans? And she would sit there looking. There was a group of us around. We felt so sorry and embarrassed. It was a shame. She didn't know what to do. It is an embarrassment of unbiblical proportion. It is ridiculous to sit down and murder. At one time, somebody even murdered a 4-year-old kid. That is outrageously ridiculous. How can you expect anybody to take you seriously when you're burning down your own neighborhoods one minute, then you're marching talking about Black Lives Matter the next? Then you reach a historic level of depravity that hasn't been seen in the city in over 40 years. You murdered 45 people in 1 month alone. That is a disaster. And the whole world watching. Look at those Negroes. Wow, they are sick. It is an embarrassment. And yet we're calling each other all kind of names. Coons and all kind of. Are you serious? You sit down there and let murder kids and old ladies, 4-year-old babies, and the elderly are too afraid to come out their house? And you call somebody else a coon? Then you stand up in the next breath and follow these so-called civil rights leaders and talk about Black Lives Matter? And then blaming white people for this madness? We need God now. You've tried everything else, and it has not done a thing. Excuse me for my noise. It has not done a thing. Nothing. We need to repent and ask God to come into our lives and give us direction, or we're not going to be around. We are going to be a permanent underclass here in our own country. I said our own country because we were brought here. And we've been here for over 400 years. So yes, I said our country. How can anybody expect to be taken? How can you expect anybody to take us seriously? Look at the ridiculous crimes that are being committed. In some places, 12, we're in one state, if, God forgive me for saying it, I'll rearrange it. In some states, we are 5% of the population and over 60% of the prison population. That is insane. We don't have communities. We have hoods. We don't own any stores, clothing. We're not feeding ourselves, clothing ourselves. We don't own any housing. It has been said the most dangerous place it is between an African American and a mall is on payday. Because everything you do, you take the people who think you're animals. Really. But Black Lives Matter. Really? Let's blame the white man. Black Lives Matter. Somebody just shot down a 4-year-old the other day. Black Lives Matter. I'm offended. Let's march. And you still have to go back there and beg these white people for jobs because you don't own a thing. It's a proven factor when African Americans have business in the community, those are basically the first ones you burn down. And you don't patronize them anyway. But East Indians, Asians, and Arab, and I'm a racist, but those are the ones that you patronize. And people are foreigners. People that think you. That is disgraceful. Lord help us. I'm asking all saints to pray for not only our nation and its leaders, but pray for our African Americans. We need help bad. We are literally disappearing. My goodness, we need help bad. Look at the ridiculous crimes being committed. One guy went down there and he stole a car, and the cop was in the store. Look, I said, really? He just radioed the man. He shook his head. The people, even the black lady behind the counter, was just so embarrassed. They didn't know what this. Just stupid. Just spookism. God help us. This is embarrassing. This is an embarrassment to the African Americans who lost their lives in the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s. Dr. Martin Luther King dream is dead. God help us. Just pray, say, man, this is just terrible.